Hello friends, so today in this video we're going to discuss the first three problems from the latest LeetCode weekly contest 254. So let's start. The first problem is number of strings that appears as substring in Word. So as you can see, the problem is telling you that you are given an array of strings which is pattern, and you're also given a string word. Now you have to return the number of strings in pattern that exists as a substring in Word. In simple terms, it actually means that you are given a word and you have to find out all the substring of word, and you have to just check that among all the substring which substring appears in pattern, and you have to count out the number of substring which appears in pattern in the total answer. That's the whole problem. Because the constraints are not too big, as you can see, you can easily just find out substring of every substring of word, and you just store them into a set, and then just check that whether a particular word from pattern exists in that set. And that's the whole logic for this problem. How to find out the substring? There can be multiple ways to find out substring, but the simplest way is to use the substring function. Substring function in C++. This function takes two variables: the starting index, as well as the length of the substring you want. So maybe if I have a string like this, A, B, C, D, and I want a substring like this, then what will I give the input? The starting index, which is 1. So if it is 0th indexing, it is 1, 2, 3. Starting index is 1. And the length I want is 3 characters. So if I give substring, so if this is W, so W dot substring 1 comma 3 will give this. So I have to find out all the substring starting from every index. If I want to find out all substrings, so the substring can be this. So starting from every index for every length, then starting from next index and every length, and so on. So that's the logic for this problem. I can tell you in a simple terms that we just find out all the substrings using this and insert them into a set, then iterate over every string into the patterns vector and check that whether that particular pattern exists into the set. If it exists, then the increment the total, else you just continue out. So that's the logic for the first problem. The second problem is also not too difficult. You just have to draw it out. The problem name is array with elements not equal to average of neighbors. So you can easily understand what the problem is asking just from the heading itself. You have to somehow make the nums array arrange such that the average of the neighbors for any number should not be equal to the number itself. So in simple terms, as you can see, I'll just draw it out to even make it more clear. If I have some numbers, let's assume I have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for this particular number, the neighbors are this and this. Now for this number, the average of the neighbors, which is like 3 plus 1, is equal to 2, which is actually equal to the number itself, which is false. So you have to somehow arrange these numbers so that the average of the neighbor should not becomes equal to the number itself. Now what you can simply do here is that instead of placing the numbers in a sorted manner, just sort the array and place them in an alternative manner, like 1. So if there are 4 numbers like this, so first place 1, then just leave this space and place 2. Then there's no space, so just come down to this 3 and 4. So what I'm actually done here is that because I know that the average of this and this will become in the end. So instead of writing out this as the smallest number, make this in a bigger number. So it's like a hill, like smaller, bigger, smaller, bigger. So now this will not become the average. Okay. So that's what we are doing here. Just iterate over all the possible numbers, sort them out, and just write them in this manner, in one jumping manner. So that's the logic for the second problem. It just comes very intuitive if you just draw out 1-2 examples. Just sort the whole nums vector, make another vector to store out the answers, and just iterate from 0th indexing till n, and just jump by 2 positions and insert all the numbers from nums into answer of I. Then if you just go out of bound, then again start from 1 because you just have filled half of the numbers till now. Then again start from first index and just go till the end, jump by 2 positions because you have filled the other half, and again fill all those numbers into the nums array or vector. Sorry. I hope you understand the second problem also. Let's move on to the third problem. The third problem will also come very intuitive if you just draw 2-3 examples. As you can see, the problem is telling you that find out the minimum non-zero product of the array elements. The problem is telling that you have an array which consists of elements inclusive from 1 till 2 to the power p minus 1. P is given to you as the input. So 1 till 2 to the power p minus 1. So let's assume p is equal to 3. So 2 to the power 3, which is 8, minus 1, which is 7. So 1 till 7, all the numbers are there if p is equal to 3. Okay, now you can do one type of operation. The operation is just choose two numbers from that array, just any two random numbers from that array from 1 till 7 for this example sake, and you can choose the same position bit and you can swap them. Okay, I'll tell you with the drawing part, and you can do that any number of times. Now you have to find out that after swapping and doing this operation, what is the minimum non-zero product of all the numbers you can form. So let's take the, also you can get the intuition from the third example only. So just draw the third example to even make it more clear, which is if you have 3, the product will be this. In the end, the numbers starting will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. But in the end, after swapping all the numbers, the number will become 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 6 and 7 and so on. So let's draw it out and how, like we can see that how this number actually forms. So I have all the 7 numbers. Let's draw out the 7 numbers in the binary representation, which is 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0 and 0, 1, 1, then 1, 0, 0, then 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1, 1. These are the binary representation of these numbers. Let's count out how many bits are there in each position, because we can reshuffle them. So the number of bits in the first position are 4, 4 and 4. So as you can see, the total number of bits in each position is equal to 4. Now just write down these empty positions: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now what you can do here is just start filling out these bits, because in every position in the first row or in the actually first column, there should be more, like there should be 4 bits, that's it. So I just fill them in this manner: 1, 1, 1, 1. Now because I want to minimize the total product, also in this, as you can see, if I take this bit and place this here, swap them out, then this number will become 0. That's not acceptable. Why? Because then this number will become 0 eventually, and the total product of all of these numbers will become 0, and that's what we do not want. So we cannot make any number 0 bit. So there should be at least 1 bit in that number. And also we want to minimize them, so try to make as less number of bits in each number as possible. So as you can see, the first column only has 4 bits like this. Now instead of placing the other bits, I have to place 4 bits in this column also. Now what you can see here is, because I want to minimize the total product, why not just keep them 1 only? I just keep them 1 only. Now try placing the other 4 bits in this position. So 1, 1, 1 and 1. Okay, now I have more 4 bits, assuming. If I fill the other bits here, then it will eventually increase this number, which is only 1. So why increase this number? Instead just place them here. Now what you can see here is, this is actually the optimal way to fill out these numbers, which is like swapping out. Now these 3 numbers are eventually 1. So the 3 numbers are 1. One number is the maximum possible number, which are having all the p bits set. So all the p bits are set, and the rest half numbers are the number which is this maximum number minus 1. So p minus 1 number is there, and these, how many numbers are there? The frequency of this is half of the total numbers. So the total answer eventually becomes here is, you have to first take the largest number, which is the largest number, and you have to multiply it with largest minus 1. This number eventually is largest minus 1. So if you take out this to be 7, this number is 6. So largest minus 1, and this number how many times this number appears? This number appears half of the time. So if this is total 7 numbers, then 7 divided by 2, 3 times it eventually was. So largest divided by 2. So the final answer is largest into largest minus 1 to the power of largest divided by 2. That's the logic for this problem. I can take it on the code part now. So as you can see, for finding out, because the number can become very large, you have to do a modular arithmetic of mod of the whole number 10 to the power 9 plus 7. So what you can see here is, in all the problems when I have to see that I have to do some modular arithmetic, I always write down these 2-3 functions. That will make my life very easy to just don't go through at which position I have to do mod and so on. So just first initialize m, which is the modular value. You have to do mod 10 to the power 9 plus 7. Then write down this mod function, which means that x mod m. What is the value of x mod m? So for any x mod, this m value is x mod m plus m mod m. So it actually also take care of the negative number. If x is negative, that will also take care. In this problem, it's not applicable, but still. Then multiplication of 2x and y. If I have to do modular arithmetic, I have to multiply two numbers mod m. The answer is x mod m into y mod m and a whole mod m. So that's what I've done. Multiplication of a and b. This is the mod function, which is like a standard mod function, mod per function. You just go to some of my previous video to understand the logic of this. Also, if I have to find out the largest number is all the bits which are set. So there are p bits from 0 till p minus 1. All those position bits are set. So just iterate from 0 till p minus 1, or like p, like less than I less than p, and set all the bits. So that's why I set it all the bits and store in the largest number. Now the final product answer is multiplication. As you can see, I've used this mod function to find out all the multiplication and all of those things. So if you write down this function, then you just have to do this thing. Multiplication of the largest number into multiplication of, like, two numbers are multiplied. The largest number and largest minus 1 to the power of largest divided by 2. So mod power of largest minus 1 to